letting go and accepting things as they are. That is the beauty of our contentment or our happiness in our life.
Aloha, and welcome to Healers' Voices, the podcast that brings you the healing heartbeats of Maui and around the world. I'm your host, Jessica Brazil, and together we embark on a journey to explore the inspiring stories of individuals who are making a profound impact on both local and global levels. From the powerful healing of Maui, we are here to amplify the voices of healers, visionaries, and change makers. We believe in the transformative power of dialogue to chart a future where all life thrives, living in harmony with the natural world and embodying the spirit of aloha.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Bhante.
No problem.
We are really excited to be starting a pod video cast where we are interviewing various leaders or individuals or groups who are making a difference in the world. And you definitely made a difference in the world in a lot of ways.
Right.
And thought our community might benefit from learning from you and what brought you into this life of monkhood, what that means. So I'll just introduce that my name's Jessica Brazil, so I'll be interviewing you today, founder of Mindful Living Group. And I had the interest and desire to work in community with other people that had a similar desire to help, to serve, to have a mindful way and view of the world and how we move about in this world. And appreciate you being here and on this journey of mindful living. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for asking me. I'm always happy to help people. That's my life theme. So I'm so grateful.
Yeah, thank you. So for those who aren't familiar with what does being a Buddhist monk mean? How are you maybe a little different from, let's say, other individuals that we come across? What makes being a monk a little bit different?
Okay, so I want to let you know my life here in the United States now is a little bit different than doing things in very traditional Buddhist country. So I became a monk age 11, left home age 10. So the training was 10 years. I call it a boot camp training. It is very challenging. Sometimes people, when they see me now, they are very excited to become a Buddhist monks. They are thinking I have very exciting life. I do, but I'm mindful about that feeling. But people don't know about, Buddhist monk's life. In the beginning, it is very challenging and difficult, and lots of training, lots of supervision around us. And so that's how I train. And now, because of that training, Jessica, where I'm now in the world right now, because that training helped me so much. I call, what you call the mindful living, right? That mindful training when I was young, that time I hated it, actually, to be honest. And so as a teenager, but now I'm so grateful for that practice, So if I get if we get a proper training as a monk, I think just being a monk is a blessing to the world. And so wearing the robe when we are traveling, and so people always come, people always attracting to me and asking questions. It's amazing life. And sometimes I feel overwhelmed with that and opportunities. That's how my life is going now.
Yeah. So you're from Sri Lanka originally.
Yeah, originally from Sri Lanka. I was born and raised there. My 21 or 22, I left the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you came to the United States at 22?
No, first, actually, I was in Australia 5 years. My teacher started a temple in Australia, in Brisbane. And so I was running that temple with local, Sri Lankan Buddhist community in that area. And, but I felt it is so cultural. So I didn't feel people are getting really benefit from me because I'm there, people are coming, supporting, and, that's it. Then I came to United States, 1997.
Okay.
Yeah.
How different was your experience in comparison to Sri Lanka to coming to the United States?
Actually, because our countries are 2000 years old traditions we have, that means people's minds are very culturally conditioned, and same time people are very loving, open-minded, and everything. Their expectation from the monks are very different, because monks are always on the pedestal and always higher place, and everybody's looking at them. We don't have that much our personal lives in that kind of situation. So sometimes it is exhausting, because everybody all the time, everybody's looking at me and watching me, what I do, how I eat, and everything is not really fun. And so then I live that traditional background so many years. So even when I go to Sri Lanka, Jessica, right now, definitely I'm fine to live like that, because I know in my blood I have that training. I know exactly what to do when I go there. But after I come to here in this country, how I used to live there, it doesn't work here. So that means I totally change, because I know how to switch my practice, my work back and forth to different cultures. I'm very adaptable person. I'm easily, quickly adjusting to the situation, but I'm always reminding people culturally I can adapt, but my practice is the same. My practice never change. If my practice is changed place to place, culture to culture, that's not practice then. So that's how I feel, because Sri Lanka kind of Buddhist country, they are very traditional about their practices and rituals, what they are doing. But here, people, they don't have that many long history, like almost 300 years, and people are very open-minded here. People want to try different things here. I really like that. That's my nature too. I always trying different things. Yeah, that is the difference I can see there and here.
And yet the consistency of your practice has remained.
Right, exactly. Practice is same. If I come to Maui, my practice is same. Here, living in Chicago, same. Going to Sri Lanka is same. But cultural thing always changing.
Yeah.
I think that is the beauty of the Buddha's teaching. Buddha said, water doesn't have a shape, right? Always water take the container shape. So that means Buddha's teaching also always take the container shape. Wherever it is adapting to the culture and the situation and environment. But the same essence, same taste, but different containers. Now that's why we call the American Buddhism, because it is in the American soil, American container. There's Sri Lankan Buddhism in Sri Lankan container, Chinese Buddhism in Chinese container. Now people are so concerned about the container more than the content. So therefore, I give respect to the container. Same time, I'm so concerned about the content. That's my practice.
So tell me about, what does your practice look like?
My practice, the daily practice, you mean?
Yes.
So yeah, when I'm home, after I wake up in the morning, I do like a 45-minute sitting practice. That's my, home practice. When I'm traveling, always it is changing. Place to place, time to time, always changing. But when I'm home, I have very solid sitting practice. When I'm out, I'm not doing sitting practice. I am practicing, all the time. But I'm not sitting that much, because all the time when I'm teaching, I'm practicing too, actually. I'm sitting and meditating with people instead of teaching. So that means my life itself, Jessica, all the time I'm trying to practice. And now I'm talking to you. This is my practice. I'm listening to you, observing you, try to understand the question you are asking me. I have to be careful what are the things I'm going to tell you. And so everything is there, right? So practice and life. Now my journey, I cannot separate.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I'm home or whether I'm with you and outside world, I'm the same person, because I don't have that dual practice anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I know I go to work out, I exercise, I do those things, but when I come to the practice, just one.
Mm.
As person to person, it is not changing. So that's how I do. Morning I do the sitting practice. In the evening, I call reflection meditation.
Mm-hmm.
That means before I go to bed, I do the reflection. How I did today. What are the weaknesses I had? How I help people. So then I feel good. If I see something missing, then I make the determination, I'm going to do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, actually, Jessica, is very interesting. I don't have regrets. Actually, it's zero regrets.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is that part of the practice, or
I think it is a part of the practice, and not only the part of practice, certain things, I made them, I did mistake in my life, but I remember those things, but those negativities in my life, they are not active anymore. It is like a dead volcano.
Mm.
It is not, the active, but I have memories. The memories are not hurting me anymore. Why? They are healed, but scar is still there.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is mindfulness, be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So what people are trying everyday life, they want to forget. They
Mm-hmm.
want to delete from their system. We cannot do that. There's no such thing, deleting the system in our mind or brain, our heart. Everything very clear and we remember. If we have dementia, maybe not, right? Other than that, everything is very clear and remember. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of the things I've loved about the mindfulness practice, the way I understand it, is softening judgments.
Right.
The judging mind that's looking at things as good or bad and right and wrong.
Right.
And instead, all of life experiences are teaching and learning opportunities.
Right, exactly. And I want to talk about a little bit that too, that when we talk about the judgment. And so that word judgment here in this culture, in American culture, Western culture, is very negative. I think the way people are understanding about the word, that's the problem. Yeah. So people say, now, looking at me, you can say, Bhante, don't judge me, okay? You can say that. But I cannot stop that. No matter what, I'm going to judge you. I'm going to judge you, right? But judgment is all right, Jessica. But condemnation is not.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, we have to teach people to judge how they are going to judge. So please judge for the survival purpose, to understand the person, understand the situation, what is going around the world. And we have to make all the judgment looking at people, how they walk, how they eat. That's fine. That's so normal to me. But based on my judgment, I'm not condemning that person. My compassion is the same. My kindness is the same. I have so much respect for that person. I understand the differences each other. Mm-hmm. So when you say, don't judge me, that's another judgment. Mm-hmm. Right? So therefore, instead of no judgment, we have to say, please judge, but don't condemn.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Interesting how such a language and the way we understand different words takes on different meanings. When I first learned that concept, and it came really strong into my awareness, the word discernment came to me. Because we don't completely suspend having an opinion or a view or value or preferences. Instead, this journey of developing wisdom, discern, and yes, the condemnation, that's a really nice rephrase.
Right. I really like condemnation, discrimination, those kind of word. So, always looking at somebody's dress, we judge, right? Oh my God, the way this person is, dressed. It's very interesting. Now, when I'm walking around the world wearing my robe, people are looking at me, they are making the judgments. Nothing wrong with that.
And assumptions.
Right, exactly. Nothing wrong with that. But looking at my robe and people think I'm a crazy or homeless or something like that. And that judgment also, all right, is other thing I want to talk about, how judgments are hurting to people right after I react to it.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
People can judge, whole world is judging me, but if I don't react to it, that judgment doesn't hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I understand about the discrimination. No matter what, the imperfect people in the world, they are always making those assumptions and judgments. I cannot stop that, but I can manage my responses, my reactions. So that's what I'm concerned about. Therefore, I let them to judge whatever they want to judge. I'm totally fine, but I'm not responding to that. I'm not reacting to that. I maybe I will respond later, but I'm not reacting to it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I feel, I'm reacting to some situation or judgment, that is so emotional and hurt and disappointments are there. Later, when I'm responding to something, loving kindness, compassion, acceptance, letting go is there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I do now about the judgment and respond and reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. You spoke a little bit about the water.
Right.
In comparison, as a comparison to the core of the teachings.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So now think about any situation. Now think about your work style. If you are believing this is the only way to make the world happy, then you get into trouble. That means whatever things you created yourself, you are attaching to that container. So there are different containers: glass of water, bottle of water, jug of water. Water has a different containers, but the same water. So therefore, this is how I understand. Now think about it I'm using a plastic water bottle, right? And so after we drink the plastic water bottle, I have two options. One is I have to put that plastic bottle into the garbage like a recycling. Or I can think, oh my God, this is the water bottle I use. I'm going to collect them. I'm going to make, the museum name of my family life, or something like that. We can do all those craziness too. But real mindfulness practitioner, Jessica, if you see a container, then we keep the container in the right place and give the respect to the container. That means a recycle bin. And then we have to drink the water and we have to walk away. That's it. Buddha used like a raft. There is a man coming across the wood, and there is a river. He want to cross the river. He collected some wood and, making a raft. After he crossed the river, he's thinking, oh my God, I made this raft. I want to take it home. This is my family, memorabilia or something like that. And so people can do those kind of problems and attachment. But real mindfulness practitioners thinking, I made this raft. I'm so grateful to this raft, but I'm going to leave this raft. Somebody who wants to cross the river, come and cross the river using the raft I made. How wonderful. In that analogy, there are lots of love, compassion, acceptance, letting go, impermanence. Everything is there in that analogy for me. That's how I understand. Therefore, I am always thinking, Jessica, letting go and accepting things as they are. That is the beauty of our contentment or our happiness in our life. So, but people think, I want to have everything in life to make my life happy. No, letting go is the happiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have spoken with people all over the world.
Right.
And I imagine, have heard many different stories and many different experiences. Maybe what's one that sticks with you or is more recent coming to your awareness that you notice maybe some themes or particular.
Okay, this is what I'm, my realization watching and observing, the regular human lives. People are exhausted and tired because of those, their emotional challenges, right? Why always our minds bouncing back and forth, like that. So the mind is bouncing all the time. Yes, of course, we are exhausted. And also now people are looking for the alternatives to calm down themselves. Then people go different direction. People can use drugs, alcohol, and people do all those negativities too. And also some people looking for mindful living groups like yours, and also the holistic lifestyle, yoga, and healthy things people are looking. But even they are looking for all the opportunities and other options, Jessica, what can I see? People are so conditioned to those negative thinking. So conditioned. They are believing it is almost real. Why? So many years they used to live like that. Some people come to me, it's very interesting. They are complaining their problems and emotional dramas. But when I'm trying to fix it, they don't want it. They don't want to fix it. Then I call enjoying suffering. So that means that those people are really enjoying that pain and suffering. Why? That's the only thing they know in their life. They feel that, keeping that suffering, that's bring attention. Bring attention, so they, instead of finding the solution, they keep it, like bring attention. It's like the street person, like a homeless or beggar or somebody, they have a wound, right? He doesn't want to cure that wound. Why? Always bandana on it. Then people have emotion. Oh my God, poor man, then he can get the benefit from it. It is so unfortunate. Most of us doing the same thing to our lives too. We know the problem, we are holding it, but we are enjoying it. Why is that? They don't know opposite side of it.
It's interesting, as I've heard you speak over the years, that one observation that I remember you sharing is the difficulty that a lot of people have tolerating their aloneness.
Right.
And they don't have an experience of nourishment in their aloneness. Right. A lot of pain and challenge that they don't have a resource to moderate or navigate on their own. And so there's a lot of avoidance. And we see that so much in culture today, probably globally. We have so many opportunities to distract instead of really being required to be present with what's happening inside of us.
Right, exactly. Now think about, for example, you are living in Maui, right? I'm living in Chicago. Wherever we are, world is beautiful. Doesn't matter cold or hot. But personally, I don't like cold. But if I have warmer weather, I will take it. And so now think about when I come to Maui, it's a beautiful healing place. It's like a paradise. But how many people enjoying that beauty and taking care of their life in that beautiful place? How many people have time to go and looking at the ocean? How many people have to go and enjoy the beach? I think people love to complain, right? People love to complain instead of, they go and enjoying what the opportunities they have. So I asked a couple of people when I was in Maui, do you go to the beach every day, just walk? Oh, no, we don't have time for that. I feel it is so unfortunate. Just go walk outside. I was there like almost 3 weeks. Most of every day I walk like 7 to 8 miles. So then I thought I'm going to use this time because I don't get it again. I'm going to the call weather. And so I think people don't know, especially here in this country, we have lots of options. But I don't think people are really using those options to make their life easy and beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you bring up an interesting point when you mentioned coming to Maui, that a lot of it is a very healing place. The Hawaiian Islands are.
Right.
It is a paradise.
Right.
And yet there's still a lot of suffering. And that's everywhere, right? Even in very wealthy countries.
Right. Yeah.
We're learning through different research studies that people are unhappy regardless of how much they have. So it's helpful to recognize that material things are not going to satisfy our senses and nourish our soul.
Jessica, I think, when we talk about the material things, and nothing wrong with the material things.
No, there's not.
Yeah, nothing wrong. They are beautiful. Money is beautiful. Sometimes people think, oh, money is evil. I think money is not evil. The mind is the problem.
Yeah.
So, I have lots of my students who practice with me. Some students have lots of money. They were so unhappy with those money. After I changed their perspective with mindful living, but still they are running their business. They are making more money. One of my students said, he's so wealthy, Bhante, now why I'm keep making money? I don't want that money. I'm keep making money. I have a skill. I want to help the world. So how beautiful, right? Instead of, against and telling, the material things and money is so ugly and dark and negative, he changed his perspective about it. Now he's keep making money, enjoy his life and mindful way, and same time he's helping the world. I think that, that's what I want to teach people. Not going this house to the next house. No need to switch your houses. Change your perspective, change your thinking. So if you change your thinking, it doesn't matter you are in Maui or somewhere else, life is the same. Yeah. That's what I call the mindful living.
Yeah. And what I heard you describe too is there's not this attachment to the items.
Right.
So it's more of
detachment. I think that's the word. Real fun part in life, detachment is the fun. Attachment is suffering and painful. So when people think, when I'm detaching, now, for example, Jessica, you have a husband. Of course, you can detach from him. It doesn't mean you are not seeing him. He's out from the house and, not communicating with him or mad. It doesn't mean that. Detachment, when you have a detachment, that is the time you are enjoying with him. When you are attaching, lots of expectation and also lots of hurt.
Lots of disappointment, right?
Right, exactly. Lots of disappointment. Because when I was in Phoenix last week, I was there 2 weeks, and two of my students, husband and wife, they are so loving to each other, so loving, right? Taking care of each other, helping to each other. But they said our relationship make wonderful, Bhante. You know the reason? We both are sleeping in the 2 separate bedrooms in the same house. It doesn't mean we are mad. We love each other. Sometimes we need our space. So one person watching the television, go to the bed, another person not. One person reading the book, another person not, So therefore, our bedroom, we need little space for us. But we have the whole house all the time. But when you go to bed, we always sleep in the separate way. That's why our, the relationship is so healthy. Because
and that works for them.
Right. We are respecting to each other's space, but we are making the breakfast together. We are laughing. You go into movie and do everything together. But that part, we do separately because we have a, separate schedule. So people think, no, until we die, we have to sleep in the same bedroom. That's good for our... No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Yeah. And the relationship journey offers a lot of learning experiences and a lot of practice with bonding versus attachment and
exactly.
letting go and
loving.
So
what Buddha said, love is another word for attachment.
Yeah.
Detachment is true love. So when we are detaching, we are not losing things. One day, of course, we lose. That's the way it is. But after you detach, you have everything perfectly. When you are attached, you have a lot of tension.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense from many different angles and experiences. We call some of that in mental health codependency. When somebody attaches on and has all these projections and expectations and even becomes enmeshed in the experience of their partner or another family member. It could be their child, it could be their dog, and it's a difficulty to separate what's theirs and what's their loved one.
Exactly.
So it seems like in life, if we want to be happy or at peace, we are going to need to practice.
So what I'm asking when I'm talking to people, detach. Then enjoy your life after that. That means you have everything and everybody. And to detach, if you want to detach, the best quality we have to understand, practice, Jessica, true nature of life, which is impermanence.
Yes.
If you can understand that, then you can detach.
Yes.
So and people think after we detach, we are going to lose everything and everybody. No, everything is there.
I noticed during the pandemic that a lot of people that maybe never faced death and the possibility of death, that impermanence came up in such a really real way. Some people found this, the experience to be more solitude and a little bit of a break, and others found it to be completely overwhelming. I know you even had some experiences going back to Sri Lanka. And you had an incredible resourcing to pull upon.
Exactly. So I think everything coming to our life for a reason. Pandemic came to our life for a reason. People are not smart to take it in a positive way. No matter what we do in life, we get sick and one day we will die. So that's why I call this pandemic for me is a blessing. Because I always took it, positively. And I know there's a negative side too. And, lots of people lost their lives. I understand that. But same time, what is the message pandemic is giving us? Prepare for your life. Enjoy your life. Anytime you may die. Instead of worrying about it. Doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank when you come to that point. It doesn't matter where you live or how big your house or how expensive your car. It doesn't matter. Right?
Always going to need to go inside.
Exactly.
And find a way to access the mind differently. Maybe you can just, couple areas I want to ask you about, but maybe you can just speak to the nature of the mind.
Nature of the mind. The nature of the mind, in the beginning, I said that going up and down. That's the positive and negative, good and bad. Always, we always live in duality. Duality. So if you can bring your mind to the middle ground, the middle place somewhere, not bouncing, that is the life. That is the beauty of mindfulness. Somebody come to you and say, oh, Jessica, you did the beautiful workshops. How wonderful. You just give a smile. That's it. Another person come after 2 weeks later. Oh my God, you are terrible. You are bad. You hurt my feeling. Just smile. Don't take both. So that's how I do now. I don't take both. I just, smile and shake my head. I do those things, but I'm always thinking somebody admiring me or praising me. I'm smiling and say thank you. But inside my mind, I say, okay, be mindful. There's a poison. And that means you are going to lose your life there. And, therefore, I don't let anymore, not 100%, go my mind, bouncing. Now it's still bouncing, not very fast. Quickly I recognize it. Now sometimes bouncing can go very fast or very slow too, right? Now I feel my bouncing part is very slow, quickly settle down. So that's what we call the mindfulness practice every day. That means I'm aware about my thoughts, feelings, and emotions before I'm reacting to them. So now think about other thing. If you recognize something in your mind, right after you recognize it, it will disappear. That's the only thing you have to do, recognizing it.
Interestingly, some of the Hawaiian cultural practitioners I speak to, they speak to this practice of acknowledge, but don't engage.
Right.
If something comes up that you, otherwise it continues to feed whatever it is
exactly.
that comes
I
up.
love that word, acknowledge.
Yeah.
When you are sad, oh, I'm sad right now. That's okay. Sadness is part of the life. No need to repress it. No need to think it's a bad thing. No. I'm mad. Yes, I'm mad right now. Just honor that feeling. That's so human. Right? So people think that's bad. Right after you label bad, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm asking, don't get into the good and bad, the baskets. So get into this is the way it is. This is the way it is. It's so wonderful after we get into that mindset. Life was so fun for me. Nothing to worry. Why? We have less expectations. We are not codependent, what other people think or do. And if they are happy, I'm happy. If they are unhappy, still I'm happy. That's what I say. Yeah.
And yet it's still rich with compassion.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's one of the unique differences.
Right, exactly.
This path is there's a deep level of compassion for suffering, which is not a level of not caring or not being involved. There's also some, service.
I want to say something about that too. People talking about the compassion. Compassion is feel somebody's difficulties and problems and understand them, but not taking as mine.
Yeah.
So my real true compassion is how I'm going to help you without hurting to myself. Right? That's a true compassion. Now, like your psychology, the Western psychology, they always use compassion fatigue, right?
Yes.
Yeah, compassion fatigue. End of the day, you are tired and exhausted. That means you maybe help them, but you didn't help yourself. So I always, what I'm doing, I'm doing exactly work what you are doing, helping people. When people come to me for the counseling or learn something, I know how to put my screen. So, I put all my compassion to them. I try to help them, but still they are unhappy. I always thinking that's not my problem anymore.
Yeah.
End of the day, I have to be happy no matter what.
Yeah. So 2 last questions. One would be if somebody were considering the life of becoming a monk, what might they want to contemplate?
So if somebody interested to become a monk, we have to focus on selflessness. But this is how I see now. Okay, maybe my words are not correct, but this is my second language. And so like a lay life, people marry, have children, and their life is very limited, right? I call that life not in a mean way, it is selfish life. Monk life is selfless life. Now family, husband and wife, maybe 2 children, that's their whole world. They have to focus on their education, their life, future. For me, I have so many children. I care about all the children in the world. I have so much attention to them. So monk's life, becoming a monk is totally selfless life. We have selfish part too, taking care of ourselves, but lots of selfless activities we have to do. We always has to be there for the people and the world, and doesn't matter who they are, they have money or not, rich or poor, doesn't matter. It's selfless life. So that's how I understand. Therefore, if you can be selfless, that's the way to become a monk.
Yeah, because all these other relationships require a lot of time and
right?
a lot of
exactly. Because now think about, I don't have that problem. Oh, this evening, my husband or wife, somebody is coming, my children are both. I don't have those issues.
Yeah.
That means, I'm totally free. But I have my responsibility for the world, but it's a big job too. Taking world responsibilities.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
So speaking of responsibility to the world, you've made this incubator project in Sri Lanka. And I've heard you speak to that and some of the reasons why you chose that as a place to put a lot of your service attention towards. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think I always believe in, Jessica, love is a noun, right? It's a noun. But loving kindness is an action. So I can talk about love hours. I can give a lecture and talk and, all those things I can do. But one day I was thinking, how about action? Love in action. So that's how I started this incubator project and helping mothers, because I'm thinking mothers are, the women especially, no need to be a mother, but women have a special capabilities and skill to change the world. Right? So women going wrong, the world is going wrong. So therefore, I started for this pregnant mother project. Every year, 300 pregnant mothers come to my home temple in Sri Lanka, and I'm teaching them how to practice loving kindness with the baby. So that means my goal is to change one generation. Actually, I already did, because I'm doing this project last 22 years. Wow. So I donated 22 incubators, ultrasound scanner, and all those things I did. So therefore, I'm really believing world is too big for me to change, but I can do some. I cannot change the whole world. If I can change one mother, one woman, if she's raising a child, definitely she will do a beautiful job. Now think about many years, 25 years ago, sometimes I bless a mother and the baby. Now that baby is married, and now 25 years later, he or she is married and they are bringing their babies to me. Now, how beautiful that connection, right? And then I'm thinking, I touch this, then I'm telling, the father, telling children, I touch your father when he was in the belly, mama's belly. Now I touch you when you are in mama's belly. How beautiful that, the connection, 2 generations already with me now, with love and compassion. So therefore, this incubator project and mothers and loving kindness meditation with mothers, I'm really believing as a love in action. So I'm asking everybody to join for that program. Everybody can watch, my website, www.bhantesujatha.org.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you speaking.
Thank you, Jessica.
The service and the sharing that you bring to the world, and I just want to say how much I appreciate how you show up, and the fact that I can send you an email or a text and say, hey,
anytime. I appreciate your courage and you believe what you are doing in the world and helping in different ways and professional way. I'm so grateful what you are doing. That's why now I know you a couple of years. I call you my noble friend. So therefore, I really appreciate your friendship. And anytime if you want to do something like that, always please contact me.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we will.
Thank you.
Well, I love the mantra that sticks with me when from your practices. May you be well, May you be
May you be
happy.
happy. May you be peaceful. Okay, thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank
Aloha.
you, Jessica. Okay, aloha, bye.
Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey through the heartbeats of healing. We hope that Healers Voices has filled your heart with inspiration and brought you closer to the spirit of aloha. As we conclude this episode, we invite you to continue this important conversation in your own life. Let these stories and insights resonate within you and inspire change in your own community and beyond. Remember, the power of healing is within all of us, and by working together, we can bring positive change to our world. Let's move forward with compassion, understanding, and a commitment to living in harmony with nature and one another. We'll be back with more incredible stories and voices of healing from Maui and around the world. Until then, please remember to follow and like us to support this continued raising of awareness and continue practicing, embodying, and spreading the aloha spirit to make a difference in the world. Mahalo for listening to Healers Voices. We'll meet again soon.